podcast called Jellison Podcast.
First ever type 1 diabetic in UFC history.
Doing fine, Dub. Nice to be with you.
Get out!
He's like, yeah. My tunnel vision and my periphery, I'm like off field.
Hey, you know how it is, though. Hey, when your team.
I don't remember that. That's crazy.
What's up, everyone? We're back with another episode of the Jellison Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest, Mr. Taylor Stallworth. Tay, how you doing?
Hey, how y'all doing this morning? I'm doing good, man. What about yourself?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much for coming on, taking time to do this. I've seen you've been working a lot on Instagram and things like that. How's the offseason been going for you so far?
Offseason been pretty good, man. Like, I cannot even lie. Like, training with different guys and being around, like, different guys and learning, I was out in Vegas with D-Buck and Ben Banagoo, my teammates, training out there with Mark Hall and the guys. So that was a great experience, a well-learning experience for me. And, now I'm back in Indy, training under one of the GOATs in the game, Robert Mathis. So, like, learning from him and just training with him, like, it's just mind-blowing for real. So, like, this offseason been great. So I'm really looking forward to camp and really looking forward to the season this year.
Mm-hmm. What types of things are you working on with Rob? He started this whole movement of kind of embracing these D-line guys from all different teams. So what do you guys work on? Is it kind of like a general thing, or does he do things specifically for you, or vice versa?
Really just all around, like, really helping us enhance our game and enhance our every technique that we need to get to the quarterback. Like, making sure that quick hands, quick feet, because now we're in a generation of the game that, hey, you got to be able to move. Like, yeah, it's cool to have all that power and all that, but can you show your quickness? Can you show your, shiftiness, your explosiveness, getting off the ball, really just movements to get the whole lineman off their pass. So, just working with him and seeing what he's teaching, and it really makes sense because, like, going back and if you watch his film, like, all the years they played, the same stuff that he's teaching us, he did. So proof is in the pudding. So right now I'm just learning, going ahead, filling up on my whole plate. So by the time camp and season start, hey, I'll be great.
Hey, I believe that. How valuable is it to have one of the greatest pass rushers of all time kind of helping you and mentoring you?
It's a true blessing, man. Like, hands down, true blessing. Like, it's one of a kind of opportunity, really. Like, not too many guys can have that, say that, oh, I train with this guy, I train with that guy. Like, being able to train with one of the greatest in the game, one of the greatest pass rushers in the game, like, especially for Colts, like, it's unreal. Like, it's unmatched. So it's a true blessing every time I be able to work with him. Just learning him and, like, have him teaching us and just listen to him and, like, really put into what he's saying into the drills and all the stuff that we do. So.
Mm-hmm. And you also talked about going out to Vegas to train with Ben and DeForest. When you're with those guys, what all do you guys work on? And I just thought of this, is there do you guys have to have cohesion as a defensive line in terms of where you guys are going to fit into the gaps? And does it take time to kind of find that?
Like, once everything get back started, like, it takes time to, like, really get into that groove, really, like, understanding, like, okay, this guy, he's this type of rusher, this in that type of rusher, I'm this type of rusher. So, like, once we find that fine line, it don't take us that long to really find that fine line, because in our D line, we got a bunch of great guys. That can stop the run, that can pass rush. So, like, once we find that line, everything can be smooth sailing. But being out there with Ben and Buck, like, that was a true learning experience for me. Like, seeing the work that Buck is one of the greatest in the game right now, like, top tier defensive lineman in the game. So just seeing his work that day and seeing how he go about his day, like, how he train, and just really, like, just watching him and learning from him, like, yeah. So I'm blessed to have him, one of my teammates, just learning him from every day. And also with Ben, like, he's a young guy coming into the game, explosive, quick, fast. Like, he's going to be a very disruptive player this year. So I'm very excited for us this year, man.
Along with them, you've played alongside guys like Cameron Jordan, DeForest, like you mentioned, Justin Houston, Darius Leonard, Demario Davis. How much do you take away from those guys and kind of learn from them and pick their brain?
Well, each guy has a like each guy work ethic is different. But they're once that game start, once that clock start going, like the mindset is different. Like being down there with New Orleans with Cam Jordan and Demario Davis, just seeing the work that they put into the game, like especially with Cam, like even though y'all see Cam on Instagram, like funny guy, amazing guy, but as soon as he stepped foot on that turf, like the animal come out of him. Same with Mario, like very humble guy, very like loving guy, like love and respect that man all the way. But as soon as he stepped foot on that turf, oh man, it's a different animal coming out. And especially being here, like a bunch of young guys at the Colts, D. Leonard, D. Bug, you know, the guys grow, all the LBs, cornerbacks. So like it's different, but it all the same, really, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like just the work ethic and just the enthusiasm with it. So it's unmatched for real, for real.
When you came from the Saints now to the Colts, you just finished up your first year with the Colts, heading into your second year. Did you notice any culture difference between the two organizations as a whole?
Well, you know, every team is different.
Mm-hmm.
Every team is different in their ways. You know, Saints organization, how they will running things, and the Colts, how they will running things. So, you know, just being on those two different teams and just seeing how the organization take care of each player, like both of them do a great job, but it just, there's no, oh, I'm favoring this, favoring that, like, because every team is different. Like, every culture is different. Like, the Colts culture is different from the Saints culture. So,
mm-hmm. And one thing I thought was really interesting that I've kind of noticed as the years have gone on, I've kind of gotten a better idea of how football works. Just the kind of mini fraternities that there are in the game, just like Rob with the defensive lineman, he's kind of bringing them in, taking them under his wing. Like D-Butt and Bethea doing their things with the DBs, and then like Pat McAfee doing his things with the specialists. So, I mean, am I on with that? Like, are there kind of mini fraternities within the NFL in terms of like position groups?
No, I wouldn't say there's many fraternities really. It's just like really just a bunch of guys doing whatever it takes to, you know, go out there and get that W at the end of the day. Like wherever it takes to be a better version of yourself the day before. So like I wouldn't say as many fraternities, just those guys, you know, being able to come back and like, you know, teach their ways and teach their game in their eyes, and, you know, having to adapt a teaching method with the players with this generation. So the many fraternities, like, I wouldn't say all that, but more of a really just like, you know, a bunch of guys coming back, a bunch of greats coming back and giving their knowledge to the young guys. So,
yeah, fair enough. Before we kind of dive into this past season and going forward, I want to take you back to when you first came into the league. How do you think you've evolved both on and off the field?
I evolved a lot on the field. You know, when I first came into the league, I was more of like really just a run stopper, you know, taking up blockers, you know, eating up the gaps. Now, you know, I really like understood the game, you know, starting to really understand my body and what it takes to go into the game, what it takes to, you know, really train myself and mentally get myself right. And I really just see my game just elevating every year more and more. I'm learning more and more every day. Like, so I can just see the elevation of my skills just going. And even on off the field, like me being back on Instagram and just doing stuff outside of the community, like around Indianapolis and back home, and just, you know, really just being in tune with the community, because I'm more than an athlete. Like, yes, I play in the NFL. Yes, I play for the Indianapolis Colts, but at the same time, I do have life. I do have things that interest me outside of football. I do have things that I want to do outside of football. So just being in the NFL is just a great platform to have that and be able to voice my voice wherever I feel, voice what I want to do. So, you know, kid like 8, 7 years old, looking up like, oh man, like that's cool, like, because anybody can do it. Like if you put your mind to it and you just keep working, like, hey, the sky's the limit, for real, for real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys really like fully understand it, but as someone like that's 7 or 8 years old, and some of the stuff that you guys do is amazing in the community. Mm-hmm. I mean, all across the board, everyone has been doing great things, but these kids will remember that for the rest of their lives. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys, like, I'm sure you guys do realize it, but it doesn't really like set in just because you're doing it so much. But what are some of the things, like some of the projects you've you've been working on recently, and then what are some of your plans for the future in terms of like community and things of that nature?
Well, right now, I have a gym back at home, just giving my knowledge like with Terrence Goodwin and Deshaun Davis, close friends of mine back home. So we started up a gym back home called the Fitness Lab 251, and we bring in kids from high school, middle school, even elementary, and like just giving back the knowledge, just teaching them like, okay, like if you want to get here, like this is what it takes, but also telling them like the off the field stuff, teaching them the game with the off the field stuff, because yes, football is important, but getting that education and make sure you're doing the right things, treating people the right way, respecting your elders, respecting your peers, and like really just being a true man in society. So just giving back in that way, really something that I'm been doing right now. And then there's a lot of stuff that I really want to do here in Indianapolis this upcoming year, especially like with, being able to food drives, doing that before the year starts, give school giveaway stuff. So that's something that I have in plan for the near future for me.
Well, that's awesome, man. If you ever need any help with those, just let me know. I'll shoot it out, come help, anything like that. I mean, I like the fact that you've been talking about kind of your growth off the field and kind of passing that down to the younger generations. If you could give one kid, or if you could give kids one piece of advice, maybe they're in high school or coming into a Division I program like you did, what would that be?
The one advice I'd give them is honestly just if you have your mind set on something and you truly believe in it, do it. Like there's gonna be ups, there's gonna be downs, but at the end of the day, if you truly believe and you truly put the work into it and really focus, that could be on the field and off the field, you can accomplish anything really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, no doubt, I agree with you there. One other thing that I wanted to ask was when you come in contact with some of these guys, like Cameron Jordan's been in the league for a long time, Robert Mathis was at the top of his game for a long time. What kind of advice do they kind of give you in terms of off the field and just talking about life?
Really just me being able to see them and see how they are off the field with their families and see how they are with kids, like, that just give me a visual like, okay, this is what it takes. This is what I have to do. Like, these are the steps I have to get to really elevate my game on and off the field, because you have a very impactful like platform and that a lot of people pay attention to. So like people can use that platform negatively, people can use that platform positively. And those two guys maximize that platform positively as no one else can. So just being able to learn on those guys, same with D-Buck, like just watching him with his family on off the field activities that he do around the city of Indianapolis, like it's unreal. So being able to learn from the guys and just really sit back and just listen and have them teach me, it's like, wow, like just soaking in all that knowledge. So once I get to that level, I can be able to do the same thing to people that's younger than me.
Mm-hmm. And I wanted to move on to kind of going forward and what that means for the Colts and yourself, obviously. What does the offseason look like from a team perspective in terms of like OTAs and mini camps and things along those lines?
Like practice wise or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, practice.
Well, with the new rules this year and like code procedure, every team had a different like OTA stance. Like we had our 2-week period with our OTAs. Other teams have probably like the 4-week, maybe 3-week period. So right now, everybody just really training, get ready for camp coming in, get ready in the best shape of their lives, because go out there and battle every day. So you get better and really get to that true goal to win a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Has it been easier compared to last year? Because last year we were kind of in the thick of things in terms of the COVID-19 pandemic and everything like that. It's gotten a little looser, but I'm sure you guys still have to go through kind of strenuous circumstances.
Well, like last year, everything was up in the air. Nobody knows when we was going to report back. Like you couldn't be here, you couldn't be there. Like it was just a lot of just confusion and but we got through it and it was a great season. So, but this year, it's more of a foundation. Like we know what to expect. Like there's a vaccine out here for people to take. There are steps that we have to go about, like to really just prepare ourselves, so we don't have that distraction of worrying about the pandemic or the coronavirus. Like don't have that distraction. So I feel like the NFL this year did a great job with that, just really like setting a format, especially with teams to help their guys out to figure out the best way, to get the guys back in the building, but being able to do it in a safe way. So they can go back to their families and not be able to like have their families concerned about their health or the family's health. So just how the NFL handled the things this year, like, is better.
That 100%. I mean, that's what it's about at the end of the day. But going back to last season, do you find that it kind of took longer for the team as a whole to mesh just because of the weird offseason?
Not really. Like, with no preseason last year, like everything happened in camp. So like game mode was every day in camp. So like I don't think it took us a long time to mesh. Like we found the groove real quick, and once we found that groove, you could tell, especially around like you can really tell and really feel. So I want to say we took a long time to find that groove.
And then how have you and your coaches and teammates kind of reflected on how last season went, and like how it ended and how you can take that next step forward?
It's a building block. Like that's just the first layer of the foundation. Like we have something to build off of. Like even though we made the playoffs, but we finished like we didn't go past the wild card. But that's a goal right there. We made the playoffs, so now okay, we made the playoffs. We put the work into it to go into the season. Do what we got to do every day to get there, but go past that point and further on. So I feel like the coach are doing a great job, like really talking to the players and getting to understand like what do we have to do to better succeed. So what happened last year won't happen.
100%. Are there some key areas that you guys have been working on in particular?
I really won't say no key areas right now because we really ain't all back in the building, but really just everybody doing their job, like doing what it takes. Like it's 11 men on the field, so trusting that guy beside you, trusting that guy behind you to do what they have to do to execute that play. So,
and how much is that kind of? I don't know if you had that when you were in college, coming into the pros, but is that trust in your teammates bigger? Just with some of the guys that you guys have on that defense?
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, most definitely. Like I trust every single guy. Like I look to the side of me, I see Grove, I see Buck, Ty Lue, like all those guys, LB, D Leonard, Scott Moore, Zaire, Bobby O'Ricky. I know that they're gonna do their jobs. They know I'm gonna do my job. Like we all trust one another to do what we have to do to really truly get to where we want to be. So and then the coaching staff, like they do a great job executing and like really setting us up for success on the field.
And then kind of shifting to this past offseason, you guys have a lot of major turnover within the roster, just in certain positions. Like you got Eric Fisher, obviously Carson Wentz, Kwity Paye and Rochelle coming in on that defensive line. What do you think of the new guys that are coming in, and how excited are you to work with them?
I'm excited to see them work, especially with Carson. A lot of guys had a downfall or their thoughts or opinions about Carson, but he's a great guy. As soon as he stepped through the door, I knew that he was a leader. Like he was ready to work, he's eager to work, and he's ready to learn and really take this offense to a different level. So I'm really excited to see what they have planned. And Carson, like he's gonna have a nice year. Like I feel, like I'm excited to see that because like just having that person walk through the door, you can see that hunger in his eyes, you see that determination in his eyes. So that's cool. And having the young guys like Dio, Kwity come in, explosive, quick guys, like special Kwity, like I call him my 4-4 bulldog because that boy is too explosive, man. Like, and then Dio, he's explosive, long and big. Ike coming in, so it's gonna be an exciting year this year. I'm looking forward to being able to work with all the guys. Really,
when the organization's making these kind of big moves, like when you guys heard the announcement that Carson Wentz was coming on, I'm sure some guys, whether they want to admit it or not, were kind of sheepish about it just because of how this past season played out and everything. But how was he receptive in the locker room, I guess, when he first came on and kind of showed that he could be that leader?
it's all family in that locker room. Like, you know, whoever walks through that door, we treat them with love and respect. Like, it's family. Like, whatever that happened in the past years or years before that, that doesn't matter, because once you step through that shoe, like, it's a new path. Like, now we're working on to get to where we need to be. So, you know, I know guys probably had their opinions. Everybody probably had their opinions. Like, that's their opinion, but he puts the work in, and we see it. He's determined, and we see it. So, like, you know, he gonna prove himself this year and gonna quiet a lot of mouths. So I'm excited for that.
And also, how excited were you to see all the additions and bring guys back on the defense? I don't know how many guys they brought in on the defensive line, the front seven, but it's pretty insane how much talent the Colts have.
Oh, it's a lot of talent, man. Like, it's a lot of talent in that room. I'm telling you right now, like, so many different skill sets, so many different, like, athleticism, because it's unreal, for real.
And then how does, kind of on the flip side of that, how do you guys as a locker room deal with some of the team leaders leaving, obviously in free agency, like Anthony Walker and Danico Autry in particular on the defense?
Yeah, well, you know, it was sad to see them guys leave, but, you know, they got the best door that opened up for them, like with Danico signing with the Titans, you know, A-Walk, he's over there with the Browns, like, still in the same division, but now they're rivals, but ain't no love lost. Like, I'll see Nico today, and I'll be like, what up, family? Like, because that's my dog. Like, Nico, I came in, he welcomed me with open arms, like, you know. So it was cool. Like, what you said?
Oh, no, keep going if you had something to say.
I was like, yeah, they left, but, like, you know, next man up. So, like, really, you know, that's how the game goes. You know how it is.
Mm-hmm. And when a move is made, what is the talk like in the locker room, both whether if they like the move or if they kind of disagree?
Every organization different, but with us, like, it really wasn't no negative talk. Like, you know, we was happy for him. Like, when we found out Nico was leaving, like, hey, big congrats. I was like, brother, that's inspiration. I text him, I'm like, yo, that's motivation for me, my dog. Like, it's all love, because, like, we know that they put their best foot forward. Like, A-Walk and Danico, like, every game, you know, they coming out there with that dog mentality. So that's the expectation with the Colts Nation. So
Yep, can't really hate on anybody for going to get back in free agency.
That's what I'm saying, you know. So there ain't no hate in that.
Yeah, for sure. What is kind of the feel and the buzz amongst the guys in the locker room and the coaches heading into next season with pretty lofty expectations?
Society, like, everybody's excited, really. Everybody's ready to work. Everybody get out there. Like, I'm getting texts from our coaches and strength staff, you know, just looking forward for all the guys to be back in the building, you know, because it's really like a family in that. Like, that's what people really don't realize is a true family, man. We all love each other. We all respect each other. But at the end of the day, we all know what it takes to get to where we need to be. So we all put in that work on and off the field.
Where do you think that family kind of feel comes from? Because, like, growing up I've been a Colts fan my entire life, and it's always kind of felt like a family. Does it come from the top down, or is it kind of just the players meshing?
Like, from Irsay all the way down. Like, it comes from him all the way down, which spreads out to the whole community, because this is a great team and a wonderful community who supports their team. So, like, that whole family feel is just the whole state itself. Like, you feel that once you walk through the door. You feel that once you walk through the stadium. Like, boom, like, we here for you. Like, we want to see you do great. So we want to see you achieve, and whatever it takes that you can ask questions, like, do whatever it takes to really get yourself to the potential that you should be at.
Does it have a kind of similar feel as maybe college football or high school football in that way?
Not really. Not really, because, like, you know, collegiate is different from the NFL. Like, collegiate is getting you ready for the NFL. So I wouldn't say, like, it's the same, like, but, you know, there's just that bond and that brotherhood, like, just that's everywhere, really, in any type of sport. So.
And how do you think that you guys match up with the other teams at the top of the league, like obviously the Chiefs and the Bucks, and then you can go down the list as well?
Well, you know, right now we really just are going against ourselves. like looking the man in the mirror and say, okay, what can I do to be better? So when that time do come and we face those opponents, we know that, okay, we got to put 100% out on the field. And wherever the outcome be, we know that we gave it our all. So, like, we know that we feel like we're a great team and we stack up pretty great against others. But right now, we just focus on ourselves and, like, what we have to do to be that top-tier team and what the steps that we have to take to work every single day. So.
Mm-hmm. And I know we're getting close on time. So just last question I have for you is, obviously going into any season, their goals. So is your guys' goal to straight up just win the Super Bowl every single year? Or is it you guys kind of compartmentalize it?
Well, that's if your goal ain't trying to go out there and give your all and come home with that ring, come home with that trophy, I don't know what to say. So, like, I feel like our goal is to win that Super Bowl, is to bring another one back to the city. So, like, we're going to do whatever it takes to really get that goal and really achieve that goal. And I feel in, like, I believe it. So we're going to put that work in this camp. And then, you'll see this season, like, we just take one game at a time and just give it our all every single game and just let it handle itself.
Well, I can't wait. I'm super excited for the season. I want to say thank you so much for coming on. Glad you're feeling better from yesterday.
Yes, man. Thank you for having me, man.
Yes, sir. Good luck going forward and stay safe as well.
Yes, sir. You too, man.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Peace.